All right, so I'm going to try to explain the engine, if you will, that a web developer and or app developer would create. I've sort of done something like this in Excel already. You'd be doing something a lot more efficient. That constitutes the basically it would be the system for placing items in the top choice system. Right now, the draft of what the app and or web pages would look like is something like, say, this is your screen. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 items. You can click on the items, and you can click the which ones you want to win this competition of 5, and there'd be countless pages with competitions of ideally 5, and you and or everybody and their brother would click on which one they want to win the game. The game ends at a given time or at a given number of clicks reached. And what we're looking at is what's happening inside the software is actually going to be happening in a nanosecond. Let me look at it. Let me take a snapshot, if you will. As I explain on the links that I sent you, this video, by the way, is mostly for, it's for anybody that's interested, but it's mostly for, right now I'm in the process of maybe talking to some web and app developers, so it's mostly addressed to them. But let's say if there's a gazillion items that in a nanosecond, or a bunch of items in a nanosecond, the system, the placement system, needs to distribute to pages of 5, screens of 5, where you and or everybody and their brother, like I said, can click on the one that they want to win. And the main point is, I hope, the main point, in case you haven't read and or listened to the other drafts through the links that I've sent you, would be that unlike, for example, with Facebook likes or YouTube video likes, where you can only click one time to thumbs up or something like that, or you like it, you could click it as many times as you want. I addressed this more extensively in some of the other links. But let's look at the snapshot where, like I said, there's this would be a sample screen with 5 items where people can click. And how does the system place this item here, 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 and like I said, software-wise, that happens in a nanosecond or something like that. How does it place them here? And this could be the front page for the whole, for the overall thing, for who you want to in the world, or for who you want to date tonight, or the top wines from Napa or something like that. But there'll be, like I said, countless pages and countless competitions. Sometimes I call them games because it's basically a competition of 5. And what happens is that let's do this with hold on a second. Let me, let's say that, for example, this is, I'm going to give you a different way of looking at it. Let's say that these are the 5 items when we start one of the games, one of the clicking competitions, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, okay? And we start the game like this, and lo and behold, this one, for example, at the end of the game, is number 1. This one is number 3. Okay, we're going to keep it simple, so we're saying nothing else has moved. So at the end of the game ends up like this. So I'm going to oversimplify the concept here, although actually, basically, what it amounts to is that this, at the end of the game, since this one be 4 items, 1, 2, 3, 4, this one gains 4 web stars. I'm going to call them web stars. In the board game championship, they were called championship points. The system that I invented a few years ago is basically something that I started with the board game championship, but now I'm using it as a top choice. I want to create it. Basically, I want to put it in the top choice system digitally, and it doesn't involve board games. It could be battle of videos or decisions of what you want to do. Like I said, who you want to date, what's the best wine, whatever. And it could have countless items. I'm dividing them in quote-unquote competitions of 5, games of 5 or whatever. Where, like I said, people, at the end of the clicking, the reason this has won the game is that it received more clicks. This has received the second most clicks, third most clicks, the fourth most clicks, and the least amount of clicks. This is the most amount of clicks that were received at the end of the game on this item. Least amount of clicks at the end, by the end of the game were received on this item, and the way that it works is that because these are continuously put back into new pages, and every item is going to want to move to the top of the page, whether it's who you want to date tonight, or the top wines from Napa, or like I said, the best decision we can make in the world, whatever. So at the end of this game, this one would have four web stars because it beat 4 items. This one would have 3 web stars because it beat 3 items. This one would have 2 web stars because it beat 2 items. This one would have 1 web star because it beat 1 item, and this one would have 0 web stars if it's the very first game. Now, what happens? Let's go, later down in time because the items keep getting moved to other pages. Let's look at a grid of how the software and the app, how the software is going to decide. Okay, we got all these items. Give me just a second here, okay? Excuse me. Okay. So let's say that, just a second, I'll explain this in a second. Let's say that we've got items A, B, and C, that at this particular point in time, these have been through enough games that item A has achieved 888 web stars. Item B has achieved 888 web stars. Item C has achieved 888 web stars. D, E, F. Let's skip down here. There's 500. G, H, I, J, K, L. So you could have hundreds of these, but let's say that you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm oversimplifying things. So you got 6 items that at this particular moment that the application, the software needs to distribute them in pages or games or competitions of 5. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It could be 600, but let's say that it's 6 items that have a web star score of 500. There's and there's 2 items that have a score of 321. 0. O, P, Q, R. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4 items that have been in the system already, but they've never they've scored 0 web stars. And there's always going to be a line of beginners. By beginners, just a second. Trust me. Okay, we're 8.5 minutes into this. This is actually the speediest way that I can explain something that the software is going to do in a nanosecond. And if you explore the links for the whole website and app, you're probably going to need to spend 3 hours to really understand what's going to happen in terms of all the functions that it wants with the website and the app. But within a few minutes, you're going to understand the gist of the most important thing, which is the placement system that the software is going to do, again, on a probably nanosecond base for distributing items to the pages, where what I suggest is we do 5 items competing within each page. So at this particular beginners, beginners would be items that are introduced into the system that have not been competing in the system yet. These are brand new items, so by default they would have 0 web stars because they've not been into the system. So alphabetically we call them A, B, C, D. Let's go after the last one we had was R. So S, T, U, V, W. Okay, so item S, item T, item U, item V, item W have been input by yourself or other people in your circle of friends that you're doing this with, that are recommending your dates or your wines or the worldwide interaction. So these are the items that have not been in the system yet. And the computer starts at the top. It's going to, and it said that we're looking at for going to the front page, if you will, of 5. So it's going to start at the top score, and then it's going to go down to the next score. So it's going to choose item A. We're looking for 5. It's going to choose then item D because it's looking at the first in line at that screen. I mean, this is inside the software, okay? It's not what the user sees. What the user sees is pages of 5 items that they can click. What the software does is that how does it distribute the items? Well, it's looking for 5, and the way it looks for 5 at a time is it starts with the top score, but it does it after it takes the first one that's there with the top score, it goes to the second one there with the second score. In this particular case, say that there's no, I'm oversimplifying here, but there'll probably be 886, 885, et cetera, but let's say that for some reason at this moment, then it's empty until you get to a score of 500 web stars, so this would be the third highest score would be 500, so that would be item G, would be the first in line, if you will, of all the items that have 500 web stars, and the next score down, the next highest score in this example, there's the highest score is 888, the second highest score is 887, the third highest score is 500, the fourth highest score is 321 web stars, and actually, let me do it this way. Let's say I'm going to go with 150 to illustrate my example here. Let's say that we have X, Y, and Z here, X, Y, and Z. Let's say that these are items that have 150. Because we always want 5 with the system that I'm going. It could be 2 or it could be 100, but I'm going with the system of 5 for a number of reasons. The computer is going to go, okay, the 5 that I'm going to put on page 1 are A, item I, artificial intelligence, item G, item M, and it wants a beginner if there are beginners. If there's no beginners, then it's going to go down to the next one down, the next score down. But we got reach 4, so it looks for beginners. First in line at the beginners, item S. So it does it in a nanosecond. We got 5 items. And so what it would do is it would create a page, which would be the front page, whether, like I said, it's for the dates, your possible dates for tonight, or for a big world decision, or for the top points, or whatever. So what the user sees, what was it? Was it AIGMS? So AIGMS. Items AIGMS would be on page 1, and people can click, and for all you know, item M is going to receive more clicks than item A. If item M receives more clicks than item A, the computer is going to assign to it as many points as the item that it beat, which in this case, item M, which started with 321 points. If they beat item A, they get as many points as item A. They get 888. I explained this a little bit more thoroughly with the links that I gave you. At any rate, in a nanosecond, of course, because we have so many pages, what the computer would also do, what the software would also do is, before people even had a chance to probably load this page, in a nanosecond, it's assigning the next 5, which would be starting back up at the top. You could either start at the top again, or you could continue down the score. Let's go with the example where we start at top. So the next table would be B, or either way. But anyway, I'm just trying to do. We only have 30 seconds left because I have a 50-minute limit on YouTube right now. But I'm just giving you a quick nutshell of what the system is going to do. And then, by the way, what will happen is that, say, for example, that anyway, just look at the links. You'll figure it out. But it does this on a constant basis. As the items are coming in and their scores are getting updated, it distributes them. It distributes them in pages where there's 5 per page. There's an arbitrary choice that I'm going with 5 per page right now. And on these pages, in your smartphone or on the web, people can click. So look at the rest of the links, and we'll just take it from there.